My dear friends, let's start with something that might seem simple, but is one of the most powerful truths for any woman who wants to step into her true power. It's about the word yes. Yes, that tiny little word we use every day without thinking twice. We say yes to invitations, yes to favors, yes to people who drain us, and sometimes we even say yes to things that go completely against our heart. And here's the problem. Every time you say yes, when your heart is screaming no, a little piece of your energy, your confidence, and your authenticity slips away. You might not feel it immediately, but over time, these yeses pile up like invisible chains, holding you back from the life you deserve. You see, saying no is not about being rude or unkind. It is not about hurting feelings or disappointing people. No, my friends, it's about self-respect. It's about knowing that your time, your energy, and your peace are sacred. Imagine for a moment that your life is like a garden. Every yes that doesn't truly belong to you is like planting a weed. One weed here, another weed there. Before you know it, your garden is overrun, and your beautiful flowers, your dreams, your joy, your purpose struggle to grow. But when you start saying no to what doesn't serve you, it's like removing those weeds, making room for the flowers that really matter to bloom. And I know saying no is hard because society has trained women for centuries to be accommodating, to be nice, to avoid conflict at all costs. We are told that if we say no, people will think we are selfish, difficult, or unloving. But let me tell you this, being nice is one thing, being invisible is another. You don't have to sacrifice your soul to please everyone around you. In fact, the opposite is true. When you honor your heart and your limits, people will respect you more, not less. They will see that you are not weak, that you are not a pushover, and that your words carry weight. Saying no is also a form of courage. It is standing up for yourself in a world that constantly asks women to shrink. Every time you say no to something that does not align with your values, you are telling yourself and the universe, I matter, my time matters, my boundaries matter. And when you practice this consistently, something magical happens. You start attracting the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances into your life. Doors that were always closed begin to open because you are no longer giving away your energy to things that are not yours. Think about your day-to-day life. How many times do you say yes to someone because it's easier than facing the awkwardness of saying no? How many times have you agreed to something out of obligation, out of fear of disappointing someone, or out of habit? And how many times did you leave that situation feeling exhausted, frustrated, or resentful? That is the cost of a yes that isn't true to your heart. The funny thing is, the people around you often do not even realize what they are taking from you because you have been trained to give endlessly. But you see, true empowerment comes when you reclaim that power. It comes when you learn to pause, reflect, and ask yourself one simple question before you respond. Does this serve me? Does this align with my heart? If the answer is no, then the courage to say no becomes the most loving gift you can give yourself. And yes, saying no will sometimes ruffle feathers. People might get upset. They might question your motives. They might even try to guilt you. But here is the truth: anyone who truly respects you will respect your boundaries. And anyone who doesn't was never meant to be a permanent part of your journey. The world will always try to pull you into doing more than you should, giving more than you can, and bending yourself into shapes that are not natural for you. But you have a choice. Every no is a brick in the foundation of your independence, your confidence, and your inner peace. Remember this: saying no is not just a word, it's a declaration of your worth. It is a signal to yourself and the universe that you value your energy, your dreams, and your happiness. It's a form of self-love that is bold, unapologetic, and transformative. And the more you practice it, the stronger you become. The more you honor your no, the more your life begins to reflect the woman you truly are, a woman who is kind, compassionate, and strong, but never at the expense of herself. So, my dear friends, let 2025 be the year you stop saying yes when your heart says no. Let it be the year you step into your power, honor your boundaries, and live your life on your terms. And as you do this, remember, every time you say no to what doesn't serve you, you are saying yes to yourself, your dreams, and the extraordinary life waiting for you. That, my friends, is the first step to becoming unstoppable. My dear friends, let's talk about something that is subtle but incredibly powerful: the difference between being kind and being silent. Many women, and honestly many of us in general, confuse kindness with silence. We think that being nice means never disagreeing, never standing up for ourselves, never expressing our true feelings. And slowly, almost without noticing, we begin to shrink ourselves to fit the comfort of others. We water down our thoughts, our opinions, our emotions, and even our dreams, all in the name of being kind. But here's the reality: kindness and silence are not the same thing. True kindness is vibrant, alive, and expressive. Silence, when it comes from fear or avoidance, is actually a form of self-erasure. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you stayed quiet when someone crossed a line, simply to avoid confrontation? How many times have you smiled and nodded when deep down you felt unheard, unseen, or even disrespected? We do this because we are afraid of conflict, afraid of judgment, afraid that our voice is too much. But the truth is, silence never protects us. Silence never heals us. Silence only allows the world to define us instead of allowing us to define ourselves. The world does not remember the quiet ones. It does not notice the ones who hide their brilliance to make others comfortable. But it always remembers the ones who speak their truth with love, courage, and clarity. Being kind is about generosity of spirit, compassion for others, and empathy. It is about holding space for people, lifting them up, and helping where we can. But being kind is also about being authentic, being honest, and being fearless in expressing who you are. You can be soft and strong at the same time. You can be gentle and firm at the same time. You can smile warmly and say a firm no at the same time. That is what true kindness looks like. True kindness never comes at the cost of your dignity or your voice. When you stay silent out of fear, you send the wrong message, not just to the world, but to yourself. You teach yourself that your voice does not matter, your thoughts do not matter, your feelings do not matter, and slowly this becomes a habit. a habit of shrinking, of hiding, of dimming your light for the comfort of others. But you see, life is not about comfort. Life is about courage. Life is about stepping into your power, even when it feels uncomfortable. Life is about using your voice, your words, and your presence to create impact, to inspire change, and to honor your own truth. And here's the beautiful thing. Speaking up does not make you unkind. On the contrary, it makes your kindness meaningful. Imagine a garden where every plant is watered, but never allowed to grow fully. The intention might be good, but the result is stunted growth. Now imagine a garden where the plants are nurtured, but also given sunlight, space, and freedom to grow. That is what happens when you are kind and you speak your truth. Your words become sunlight, your voice becomes nourishment, and your life begins to flourish in ways you never imagined. Consider the women who have changed the world, not by being silent, not by being invisible, but by combining kindness with courage. They spoke when it was uncomfortable, they challenged norms when it was inconvenient, and they stood firm in their beliefs even when the world told them to stay quiet. And in doing so, they created impact far greater than anyone who simply followed the path of quiet compliance. Your kindness, when paired with your voice, becomes a force that cannot be ignored. Now, let's be practical for a moment. Speaking up does not mean shouting, yelling, or being harsh. It means expressing yourself clearly, honestly, and respectfully. It means saying what you feel, asking for what you need, and standing by your values without fear of judgment. It means having conversations that matter, even if they are uncomfortable. It means addressing situations that bother you, even if it feels easier to avoid them. And yes, the first few times you do this, it might feel scary. Your heart might race. Your hands might shake. But with every time you speak your truth, something inside you grows stronger. Your confidence grows. Your boundaries grow clearer. And your sense of self-worth becomes unshakable. Friends, imagine a life where every woman practiced this principle. A life where kindness was never confused with silence, where compassion was never mistaken for weakness, where women spoke up for themselves, for each other, and for the world would look different. Conversations would be richer. Relationships would be healthier. Opportunities would be more equal. And most importantly, every woman would walk with a sense of freedom and joy that comes from being fully herself. So I urge you today, my friends, be kind, yes, but do not be silent. Use your voice as an instrument of love, courage, and truth. Speak your heart, express your feelings, and stand firm in your beliefs. Because the world needs your kindness, yes, but it also needs your voice. And when you combine the two, kindness and courage, nothing, and I mean nothing, can stop you. Let 2025 be the year that you no longer confuse being nice with being silent. Let it be the year you realize that your voice is your power, your words are your legacy, and your truth is your gift to the world. Speak up, my friends, because the world is waiting to hear the real you. My dear friends, let's talk about something so simple, yet so revolutionary: choosing yourself. In a world that constantly tells women to put others first, to prioritize everyone else's happiness, to adjust, to adapt, to compromise, the very idea of choosing yourself can feel almost rebellious. And yet, it is the cornerstone of every fulfilled life, every meaningful journey, and every success story. Choosing yourself does not mean being selfish. Choosing yourself does not mean ignoring others or walking over anyone. No, choosing yourself is about recognizing that your happiness, your growth, and your well-being are not optional, they are essential. Think about this for a moment. How often do we feel exhausted, drained, or even resentful? How often do we carry burdens that were never ours to carry? How often do we say yes to demands, to expectations, to obligations, all in the hope that someone else's life will be better, even if ours is falling apart? The truth is, if you do not choose yourself first, you cannot fully show up for anyone else. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And yet, society has somehow glorified self-sacrifice for women, making it seem as though choosing themselves is wrong or selfish. But my friends, nothing could be further from the truth. Choosing yourself begins with awareness. It begins with the simple realization that your needs matter, your dreams matter, your health matters, your time matters. And the moment you truly internalize this, everything changes. Suddenly, you start to make decisions that honor you. You start to say no without guilt to things that drain you, that don't align with your values, or that steal your peace. You start to prioritize your mental, emotional, and physical well-being because you understand that this is not indulgence. This is responsibility to yourself, to your family, to your community, and to your purpose. Let me tell you something, choosing yourself is not a one-time act. It is a daily practice. Every morning when you wake up, you have a choice. You can choose to let the world dictate your mood, your actions, and your thoughts. Or you can choose yourself. You can choose to prioritize your dreams over distractions, your growth over criticism, your joy over societal expectations. And when you make this a habit, when you consistently put yourself first in the ways that matter, something remarkable happens. Your confidence grows, your clarity sharpens, and your life begins to align with the woman you are truly meant to be. And yes, choosing yourself can be uncomfortable. There will be people who do not understand, who criticize, who even try to shame you. Why are you thinking of yourself so much? They might ask. What about others? And in those moments, it is crucial to remember that choosing yourself is not about diminishing others. It is about valuing yourself enough to live authentically. It is about standing in your truth without apology. It is about understanding that the only way to fully contribute to the world is to be whole, centered, and empowered. Choosing yourself also means making tough decisions. Sometimes it means leaving a relationship that no longer serves you. Sometimes it means saying no to opportunities that drain your energy, even if they look impressive from the outside. Sometimes it means taking risks for your dreams, even when others advise you to play it safe. These decisions are not easy, but they are necessary, because every time you honor yourself, you reinforce the message that your life is yours to live, not someone else's to control. Think about the ripple effect of choosing yourself. When you prioritize your growth, you inspire those around you to do the same. When you set boundaries, you teach others the importance of respect. When you pursue your dreams with courage, you show that ambition and kindness can coexist. Choosing yourself does not isolate you. It elevates everyone connected to you because you are now living in your highest, most authentic version. Friends, let's be honest. There will always be voices telling you that you are selfish, that you should compromise, that you should shrink yourself for the comfort of others. But you have to remember this: your life is not meant to be lived in the shadow of someone else's expectations. Your dreams, your joy, your potential, these are sacred. And when you choose yourself, you send a powerful message to the universe that you are ready to step into your power, claim your worth, and live a life that is fully yours. Choosing yourself also means embracing self-love in its deepest form. It means forgiving yourself for past mistakes, embracing your flaws, celebrating your strengths, and committing to your growth. It means understanding that you are enough just as you are, but that you also have the power to become more. Choosing yourself is a declaration: I matter, I deserve, I will not settle for less than what aligns with my heart and soul. And when you make this declaration daily, you become unstoppable. So, my dear friends, let 2025 be the year that you choose yourself unapologetically, consistently, and fearlessly. Choose yourself when it's easier to put others first. Choose yourself when it's uncomfortable. Choose yourself when it feels selfish. Because in doing so, you are not only honoring your life, you are unlocking your power, your purpose, and your potential. And remember this: when you choose yourself, you create a life that is no longer dictated by anyone else's approval, expectations, or limitations. You create a life that is truly, beautifully, and boldly yours. My dear friends, today I want to talk about something that many women struggle with silently, but which has the power to completely transform your life: learning to walk away from anything that drains you. Now, I know this can be uncomfortable to hear because our natural instinct is to hold on to people, to situations, to habits, to jobs, to relationships. Even when they hurt us, we cling, thinking that persistence is always the virtue, that sacrifice is always noble. And yes, perseverance is valuable when it leads to growth, but clinging to what diminishes you is not perseverance. It is self-neglect. Walking away, in these cases, is not weakness, it is strength. You see, in life we often get caught in a trap. We hold on to the familiar, even if it causes pain, simply because it feels safer than the unknown. We stay in relationships that make us unhappy, in jobs that drain our soul, in friendships that bring more stress than joy, and in routines that suffocate our growth. We tell ourselves, I can handle it. Maybe it will get better. Maybe things will change. And yes, sometimes they do, but more often than not, holding on just keeps us trapped in a cycle of frustration, disappointment, and exhaustion. The moment you realize that you have the courage to walk away, you reclaim your power. Walking away is not about being angry or vengeful. It is not about running away from responsibility. It is about protecting your energy, your peace, and your well-being. Think about your life as a vessel filled with energy. Every negative situation, every toxic person, every draining experience takes away from that vessel. Over time, it empties you. And no one can fill your vessel for you. You must protect it yourself. Walking away is an act of self-love. It is a statement: I will not let anyone or anything diminish my light. I will not compromise my peace for the comfort of others. I deserve better. Let me be clear, walking away can be scary. It can make you question yourself. Am I overreacting? Should I try harder? Will I regret this decision? These doubts are natural, but remember that staying in a situation that drains you is far more dangerous than stepping into the unknown. It erodes your confidence, it stunts your growth, and it steals your happiness. The courage to walk away is the courage to prioritize your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being above anything else. It is the courage to honor yourself when no one else will. Many women stay in toxic relationships because they fear loneliness or because society teaches them that commitment is sacred at any cost. They stay in careers that bring stress and anxiety because they fear failure or judgment. They continue friendships that are one-sided because they fear confrontation or loss. And all the while, they slowly lose themselves. They lose their voice, their dreams, and their joy. But here is the truth. Walking away is not abandonment. Walking away is liberation. Walking away is the first step toward a life that is aligned with your values, your purpose, and your happiness. Think about the people and situations in your life that drain you. Are they really worth your energy? Are they really worth sacrificing your peace, your joy, your growth? Most often, the answer is no. And the moment you acknowledge that, something shifts. You begin to see that walking away is not a failure. It is a strategic, empowering choice. You are no longer a victim of circumstances. You are an architect of your life. You are choosing environments that nourish you, relationships that uplift you, and experiences that expand you. Walking away also sends a powerful message, not just to the world, but to yourself. It tells you that you matter, that your well-being matters, that your energy is valuable. It builds boundaries that others cannot cross and teaches respect in the most profound way. And the beautiful irony is this: the moment you step away from what drains you, you make space for what truly serves you. You create room for joy, for love, for growth, and for opportunities that are in alignment with who you are. And yes, there will be critics. People might question your choices. They might say, you are too sensitive, or you are giving up too easily. Ignore them. Their opinions are a reflection of their own fears and limitations, not yours. The only opinion that truly matters is yours, and the only life that matters is the one you are living authentically. Walking away is not a sign of weakness. It is a declaration of self-respect. It is an act of bravery in a world that constantly tests your limits. My dear friends, life is too short to spend it carrying burdens that are not yours. Life is too precious to spend it in environments that drain your soul. Walking away is not about being negative. It is about being wise. It is about choosing your happiness, choosing your peace, and choosing your future. When you practice this, you will notice a remarkable transformation. Your confidence will grow, your clarity will sharpen, your relationships will become healthier, and your life will become lighter and more joyful. So, I urge you today, especially the women listening, to reflect on your life. Identify the people, the situations, and the patterns that are draining you. Give yourself permission to walk away from them. It will not be easy at first, but the freedom and empowerment you gain will be worth it. Walking away is a gift you give yourself. It is a declaration. I will not settle for less than I deserve. I will not compromise my peace. I will honor myself above all else. And when you do this, you step into a life of courage, clarity, and unstoppable strength. My dear friends, let's talk about something that is so easy to forget in today's world: the power of your own light. Many women spend years dimming themselves, adjusting their brilliance, so that others feel comfortable, so that others don't feel overshadowed, so that others don't get intimidated. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, we start to shrink, hide, and compromise our true potential. But let me tell you this very clearly: your light is not meant to fit into someone else's comfort zone. Your light is meant to shine unapologetically, brilliantly, and fully. And the moment you stop dimming it for anyone, that is the moment your life truly begins to transform. Think about the way the world often operates. We are taught to be humble, to not boast, to not stand out too much. And while humility is beautiful, humility is not invisibility. Being modest is not the same as hiding your gifts. When you allow yourself to shine fully, you are not being arrogant, you are being authentic. You are honoring the talents, the abilities, and the unique gifts that you have been given. Dimming your light might make others feel comfortable, but it does nothing for you. In fact, it slowly chips away at your confidence, your courage, and your ability to influence the world. Every time you hold back, whether it is in your career, your relationships, or even your personal growth, you are teaching the world how little it should expect from you. And the sad part is, the world then accepts this because you allowed it to. But when you decide to shine at full power, you set a standard, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. You show what is possible. You inspire others to embrace their own light. And suddenly, the energy around you shifts. You attract opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with the brightness you are projecting. You see, your light is not just about achievements or success. It is about presence, confidence, authenticity, and courage. It is in the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you make decisions that honor your values. And when you dim your light for anyone, a boss, a partner, a friend, or even society at large, you are not protecting them, you are restricting yourself. You are stopping your own growth. You are delaying the impact you are meant to have on this world. Your light has a purpose, and it is meant to illuminate your path and the paths of others. Many women hold themselves back because they fear judgment. They worry about criticism, rejection, or making someone else feel uncomfortable. But let me ask you something. Who are you dimming your light for? People who don't understand your journey? People who cannot appreciate your brilliance? People who are too small-minded to see your potential? If your light causes discomfort for the wrong people, that is not your problem, that is theirs. Your responsibility is not to shrink for anyone. Your responsibility is to shine fully and fearlessly. Shining at full power also means embracing your uniqueness. Every woman has qualities, talents, and abilities that are unlike anyone else. When you dim yourself to fit into a mold, you deny the world the opportunity to experience your uniqueness. You deny yourself the satisfaction of becoming fully who you were meant to be. Every time you embrace your light, you celebrate yourself, and that celebration becomes contagious. People around you feel inspired, motivated, and encouraged to embrace their own brilliance. And yes, shining fully can feel uncomfortable at first. You might feel exposed. You might worry about criticism or envy. But remember, light is never meant to hide in darkness. The more you shine, the more confident you become, the more you embrace your light, the more aligned you feel with your purpose. The more you allow yourself to shine, the more your life attracts experiences, people, and opportunities that match your energy. Your brilliance is a magnet for abundance, joy, and growth. Think about the women who have changed the world, not by dimming their light, not by staying small, not by trying to make others comfortable. They shone unapologetically. They embraced their voice, their influence, their power, and in doing so, they inspired millions to do the same. Your life can have the same impact if you choose not to dim your light, if you decide to honor your gifts, embrace your uniqueness, and shine fully. You become unstoppable. Friends, your light is a reflection of your inner strength, your values, your courage, and your purpose. Do not hide it. Do not apologize for it. Do not adjust it to make others feel comfortable. Shine fully in every area of your life. Shine in your relationships by being authentic and honest. Shine in your career by being confident and competent. Shine in your personal growth by being fearless in pursuing your dreams. Every time you allow yourself to shine, you step closer to the life you are meant to live, a life of joy, influence, fulfillment, and impact. So I urge you today, especially the women listening, to stop dimming your light. Stop hiding behind smallness. Stop adjusting yourself to make others feel comfortable. Shine at full power. Be proud of your gifts. Be confident in your voice. Be fearless in your presence. The world needs your light, and you owe it to yourself to let it shine. Because when you do, not only does your life transform, but the lives of everyone around you are illuminated as well. My dear friends, today I want to talk about something that can completely transform the way you live your life. The power of setting standards, not expectations. Now, these two words may sound similar, but their impact is vastly different. Expectations are dangerous because they tie your happiness to someone else's actions. Standards, on the other hand, are empowering because they reflect your self-worth and guide your choices. Let me explain this in a way that will resonate deeply. Expectations are like invisible chains. We often set expectations for others, expecting our friends to always understand us, our partners to always behave a certain way, or the world to always meet our needs. And when these expectations are not met, what happens? Disappointment, frustration, and resentment creep in. We feel hurt because the world didn't behave the way we wanted it to. We feel powerless because our happiness is dependent on someone else's behavior. Expectations are dangerous because they make us vulnerable to the unpredictable nature of people and circumstances. And let's be honest, life is unpredictable. People will not always act the way we want. Situations will not always unfold the way we hope. And the world will not always bend to our wishes. When we tie our peace to these expectations, we are setting ourselves up for suffering. Standards, however, are different. Standards are about you, not them. Standards are a reflection of your values, your principles, and your self-respect. Standards are about the kind of life you will accept, the type of relationships you will nurture, and the boundaries you will protect. When you set standards, you are not expecting anyone else to behave perfectly. You are simply deciding what aligns with your worth and what does not. For example, you might have a standard that will not tolerate disrespect, in your relationships. That is not an expectation that someone will always be perfect. It is a standard that protects your dignity. And the beauty of standards is that they give you power, they give you clarity, they give you freedom. Let me give you a personal example, my dear friends. Many women stay in situations, in jobs, or in relationships where they are undervalued because they expect others to change or to behave differently. They expect recognition, appreciation, or love to come automatically, and when it doesn't, they feel disappointed. But if instead they set standards for self-respect, for how they are treated, for how they prioritize their growth, they no longer rely on anyone else to validate their worth. They create a life that aligns with their values and protects their energy. Standards empower you to make decisions based on your principles rather than your fears, and that is transformative. When you live by standards, you stop compromising for temporary comfort or acceptance. You stop shrinking to meet others' expectations or to avoid conflict. You stop apologizing for being yourself. Your standards become your compass, guiding you toward people, opportunities, and experiences that uplift you, not drain you. Standards are like the walls of a house. They protect the space inside while still allowing growth and light. Expectations, in contrast, are like fragile glass that shatters at the slightest disappointment, leaving you vulnerable, frustrated, and disillusioned. Another beautiful aspect of standards is that they teach respect, both for yourself and from others. When you consistently live according to your standards, people around you begin to understand your value. They learn that you will not settle for less than what aligns with your worth. They learn that your happiness, peace, and growth are non-negotiable. And in that process, you do not need to argue, convince, or manipulate. Your life itself becomes a reflection of your self-respect and strength. Standards speak louder than words. Friends, this is particularly important for women in 2025 because our world is filled with distractions, pressures, and influences that try to define our worth for us. Social media, societal norms, and even close relationships can make us question our values, compromise our boundaries, and lower our standards just to fit in. But I urge you, do not let anyone define your value. Do not let anyone dictate what you should tolerate or accept. You are the guardian of your life. Your standards are the shield that protects your joy, confidence, and purpose. And here's the truth: setting standards is not about being rigid or controlling. It is about clarity, self-awareness, and courage. It is about deciding what is non-negotiable for your well-being and growth. It is about choosing relationships, careers, and opportunities that honor your worth. And the moment you do this, your life begins to change. You start attracting people and situations that align with your energy. You start walking away from what drains you. You start making choices that feel empowering, freeing, and authentic. Standards create a life that reflects the strength, clarity, and courage within you. So, my dear friends, let 2025 be the year you stop setting expectations that tie your happiness to others and start setting standards that reflect your self-worth. Stand firm in your values, protect your peace, honor your energy. When you do this, you are no longer at the mercy of circumstances, people, or opinions. You are the architect of your life. You are the author of your story. You are a woman who knows her worth, walks with clarity, and refuses to compromise her dignity for anything or anyone. Remember, standards are not a limit, they are liberation. They free you from disappointment, frustration, and self-doubt. They give you power, confidence, and direction. And most importantly, they help you live a life that is aligned with who you truly are. So set your standards high, live by them consistently, and watch your life transform into a reflection of your strength, courage, and unstoppable spirit. My dear friends, let's talk about something that is simple to understand but difficult to practice. The power of not over-explaining yourself. Many women, and honestly many people in general, fall into the trap of constantly justifying, clarifying, and defending every choice, every opinion, and every action. We feel the need to explain why we said no, why we pursued a certain path, or why we made a particular decision. And while it may come from a place of politeness or a desire to be understood, over-explaining slowly erodes your confidence, diminishes your authority, and makes you dependent on external validation. The truth is, a confident woman doesn't justify everything. A confident woman knows her worth, stands firm in her choices, and trusts that her actions speak louder than her words. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you felt exhausted because you spent hours explaining yourself to someone who didn't even truly care? How many times have you apologized unnecessarily, over-clarified your intentions, or justified your feelings to avoid conflict or judgment? Over-explaining often comes from fear of being misunderstood, fear of being judged, fear of disappointing others. But here is the truth: your life, your decisions, and your boundaries do not need to be validated by anyone. You are not obligated to explain your worth, your choices, or your priorities to anyone. Your peace and confidence come from within, not from someone else's approval. Not over-explaining is an act of self-respect. Every time you feel the urge to justify yourself unnecessarily, pause and ask, do I owe this explanation, or am I doing it to seek approval? You see, a confident woman sets her boundaries and decisions clearly and lets them stand on their own merit. She doesn't dilute her words or her actions to make others feel comfortable. She understands that clarity and consistency are far more powerful than constant explanations. When you over-explain, you are essentially transferring your power to others, allowing them to control your narrative. But when you stop over-explaining, you reclaim that power and assert your authority in a calm, firm, and confident manner. Consider the scenarios in your life where over-explaining occurs most. At work, in relationships, with friends, or even within your family. How often have you felt the need to convince others of your intentions, your feelings, or your decisions? How often have you left a conversation feeling drained because you gave too much of yourself trying to prove your point? When you recognize this pattern, it becomes clear that over-explaining is not helping anyone, not even the person you are trying to convince. On the contrary, it weakens your energy, diminishes your confidence, and subtly erodes your authority. Not over-explaining does not mean you stop communicating. It does not mean you stop being kind, thoughtful, or considerate. It means you communicate with clarity, confidence, and intention. It means you speak your truth succinctly and let it stand. It means you trust that the people who matter will understand, and the rest do not require your energy. When you practice this, You notice something remarkable. People begin to respect your words more because they recognize that you are firm in your convictions. They stop taking advantage of your need to explain yourself and start seeing you as someone who is confident, independent, and self-assured. Many women over-explain because they are conditioned to seek validation. From a young age, society teaches us to be agreeable, accommodating, and pleasing. Make everyone happy. Don't rock the boat. Explain yourself so no one misunderstands. And while these lessons may have been intended to maintain harmony, they inadvertently teach women to dilute their power. But here's the powerful truth. Your worth does not come from explaining yourself. It comes from living authentically, making decisions aligned with your values, and standing firm in your truth. When you trust yourself enough to stop over-explaining, you unlock freedom, confidence, and inner strength. Let me give you an example. Imagine you decide to leave a toxic relationship, change careers, or pursue a bold dream. If you over-explain your choice, you might feel pressured, anxious, or guilty about how others perceive you. But if you simply state your decision confidently, without unnecessary justification, you communicate clarity and strength. You show that your life is yours to lead, that your choices are grounded in your values, and that you are not seeking approval to live authentically. Over time, this practice not only strengthens your inner confidence, but also teaches others to respect your boundaries and decisions. My dear friends, the world does not need to know every detail of your journey. The world does not need to understand your reasons for every decision. And the world certainly does not have the right to judge your choices. Your life is yours to live. Your decisions are yours to make, and your peace is yours to protect. When you stop over-explaining, you create space for your energy, your confidence, and your joy. You become a woman who speaks with clarity, acts with authority, and lives with authenticity. So I urge you today, especially the women listening, stop over-explaining. Trust your judgment. Stand firm in your decisions. Communicate with clarity, not excess. Let your life be proof of your choices, not your words. Every time you resist the urge to justify yourself unnecessarily, you reclaim a piece of your power, strengthen your confidence, and step closer to the life you are meant to live. A confident woman doesn't justify, she lives boldly, speaks truthfully, and inspires effortlessly. And that, my friends, is the path to unstoppable strength, peace, and fulfillment.